Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have my spoiler-free review of Baron by Joanna Shupe. So, I have been reading the Knickerbocker series by Joanna Shupe along with a group of friends on Instagram. It's a buddy read put on by Bookish Kelly and To All the Nerdy Girls, and her name is Dana. To All the Nerdy Girls is Dana. She has a YouTube channel too. I'll link Kelly's Instagram, Dana's Instagram and YouTube down below so you can join in for future group reads because they have such a great discussion about these books. I have thoroughly enjoyed being a part of their buddy read. I came into their Summer of Sarah McLean for the last month and just felt like I got so much out of that group read experience. So definitely, if you're interested in a wonderful romance group read, definitely check them out because they're amazing and I love them so much. So anyway, we have just recently been reading the Knickerbocker series by Joanna Shupe. This is one of her earlier books. I think this is her second series. The Courtesan Duchess series is her first, and then the Uptown Girls is her most recent one. So this series follows a group of characters who are in New York in the late 1800s. It's the Gilded Age, so this is a little bit different for a historical romance in that it's set both in America, the Gilded Age, so we don't have the typical dukes, duchesses, anything like that. This is all about sort of self-made people instead of necessarily like the aristocracy, which I really like. This is the second book in this series, and this follows Will Sloane and Ava Jones. Now we see Will Sloane in the first book in the series, which is Magnate, and honestly, Joanna does an excellent job of really making you kind of hate Will in that first book. He's very unlikable. He's kind of a douchebag, and honestly, a lot of us were talking about, and I definitely agreed, that I was really nervous going into this, wondering how I was going to see and feel about him as the romantic hero, because he was just so dang unlikable in the first book. So the plot of this book is basically Will is a railroad baron, so he has a very large amount of wealth. He's got a very high social standing. He's actually running for the lieutenant governor in the governor election at the time. So he's really very concerned about his opinion in the public eye and who he's seen with and how he's seen and perceived. It's very, very important to him. But he's also a gentleman. Like, he really has a true gentleman nature. He's very polite, very concerned about the feelings of others, and I loved that about him so much. So in this book he meets Ava, who is a young woman who is basically raising her siblings. She has 3 siblings. Her parents both were killed, I believe, by an illness and left them all alone. They are not necessarily in dire poverty, but she has worked very hard to provide for her brothers and sisters, and they definitely live on the lower side of New York and aren't considered, I guess, the social elite or someone who would be socially acceptable for Will to be with. She is a medium, so that was a very fun point of view. I've never seen that before in a historical romance, and it was honestly very fun to see that side, and I know that that actually did exist in New York at this time, and Joanna has a note in here about that. So Ava is working really hard to save money to help her siblings move somewhere in the country, so that, because all of her younger siblings, they all work too every single day. They're children and they're working to just try and make ends meet. Now, Will and Ava end up meeting at a seance that she is hosting for Will's partner in the governor race who's running for governor. So Will sees her and sees that she's kind of conning the would-be governor or the governor candidate, and he gets really upset and wants her to stay away from him. He doesn't want any kind of a scandal going on, and this is a platonic relationship. It's just that this candidate for governor totally believes in Ava's magic and wants to be a part of it, and Will's like, no, this is ridiculous, stay away from him. So they have an initial sort of enemies to lovers, like hate each other type of thing, but they also have a really powerful attraction to each other. And so the whole story is basically them trying to find their way around this hate and sort of dislike they have for each other while fighting with the attraction that they have for one another too. And also when that progresses a little bit further and they start to have feelings, like how they try to find a way that they can be together in this world in a way that would be socially acceptable and not ruin Will's career and his future. And it was just, honestly, this was everything I wanted in a historical romance. It was everything that I thought I would hate, if I'm being honest. I typically don't like American historicals. I don't like talks about, like, money or stock markets. Like, I don't care about any of that, you know? Like, I would usually rather read a story about a duke or a duchess or something like that. So I really kind of felt like, I don't know if I'm gonna really vibe with this or not, but I ended up absolutely loving this. This is one of my favorite books of the year. This couple, you guys, they're so great. They're one of my all-time favorite couples now, for sure. The chemistry between these two was magnetic and electric, and it was just so palpable, and there was so much longing between the two of them too, that it was just so beautiful and so delicious, and it was just perfection. I adored it. I loved their relationship. I loved seeing Will really struggle with his feelings of wanting to be a good person and wanting to be a good man and what that meant to him, but also wanting to really advance his political career, and the way he treated Ava, like, he treated her like a queen. He was so considerate of her and so thoughtful, and there were a couple of scenes in this book where he really did a few gallant gestures that just left me swooning, and he just was amazing and fantastic, and I just loved this so much. I really feel like the overall plot in this was very tight and very clever, the way that it was woven together, and it was so realistic in the way that we felt like they really can't be together. There's not much hope for this couple to be together, but she made it work in such a way that just left me, like, awestruck. I feel like this was just a masterpiece. It was so good. I finished reading this at like 1 a.m. last night, literally, and I knew I had to come and gush about it, so here I am. And I just felt like this is just, this book is the perfect book for me, because another thing about Ava is that she is such a fiercely strong character. She does not give in to Will at all. She sets to anyone, really. Like, she sets boundaries. She knows what she wants. She will not let anyone sway her or take advantage of her. She doesn't take any crap from people. Like, she stands up to them. She is fiercely loyal to her family. She is protective. She is good, and she really is just the strongest feminine characters that I've ever seen, and I loved her so much, and I just felt like their relationship worked so well. It was such a good hate to love, opposites attract, just, it was fantastic. This is the 4th book I have read by Joanna Shupe, and this is definitely my favorite. So I have read Tycoon, which was the novella, the prequel to this book, and then I read Magnate, which was the first, which I liked. Okay, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I definitely enjoyed it. I had some issues with the hero and the overall plot. And then I read The Rogue of Fifth Avenue, which I really enjoyed, but I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars too. But then I read this, and this was absolutely a 5 out of 5 star. This was a masterpiece. It was fabulous. If you are looking to try something different in historical romance, definitely would recommend this. I don't feel like you necessarily have to read Magnate first. However, I feel like having read that first and seeing how unlikable Will was in the first book made his redemption in this book so much more powerful and so much more enjoyable. And watching him really just fall to pieces for this woman that he was head over heels for, oh, it was perfect. It was perfection. It was what every romance reader wants. It was just so freaking good. So I just had to come on here and gush about it, because I would like to start doing more single reviews for books that I just absolutely 100% adore, instead of waiting for my wrap-up towards the end of the month. And this one, as soon as I finished it, I just felt like, yeah, this is it. This is what I need to review singly, because I freaking loved it so freaking much. It was so good. So I'm filming this video before we're having our group chat. Kelly and Dana do a live chat where we kind of get on and talk about the books. So I'm so curious and interested to see what everyone else thinks about the books, and I would highly recommend following them on Instagram and signing up for future group reads with them, because it has really elevated my reading experience, and I have loved every single second of it. So 5 out of 5 stars for this. Joanna Shupe is a queen. She is quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. I can't wait to read more from her. I loved it so much. Please check this book out. Let me know if you do, and let me know what you think about Gilded Age romances. Is that something that you're kind of into or kind of on the fence about? Because I definitely was on the fence, but now I'm sold. When they're told right, they're fantastic. So thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.